Welcome back, everybody. My name is All Fun and Games. I stream every day on Twitch TV, and I also make fun little videos here on YouTube. Today, we're going to be talking about Chester, as Chester seems to be one of those overlooked characters that potentially can make you a little bit happier as you're wandering around and don't starve together. I used to avoid Chester altogether, and sometimes not even looking for the eye bone because I didn't really care about it that much. But as time went on, I started to realize just how amazing Chester really is. The fact that it's a character that will literally follow you around, and basically you can store everything you want inside of it, even food, without it actually eating it, is pretty awesome. So, if you've been playing around with finding the eye bone right away, you're probably, already used to using Chester. If you're like me and you've been avoiding it, I would probably talk about why you really should focus on using Chester for other things. Of course, there are ways to make Chester even better by using, different things like you can turn Chester basically into an ice box by giving it a bunch of different blue gems. You can use it and turn it into a bunch of nightmare fuel, and those all have to be done, of course, on a full moon. So some things to think about in the future when you are using Chester for things other than just normal Chester. But let's just focus on normal Chester, as we're not going to get into the variants just yet. So, when it comes to Chester specifically, what you want to do is obviously just travel around the world. The eye bone is going to be found on the ground. The eye's not going to be poking out at you, or maybe it will, depending on if Chester's alive. And then once you pick it up, voila, the eye will basically appear, and Chester will follow you or make a little hoppy noise until it gets over to you. Once that happens, you're now, if you don't already have a backpack, you're probably going to realize that you now have an extra 9 storage spaces. Of course, you know that your backpack is going to let you store up to 8 items. If you put your Chester eye bone in the backpack, it's now reducing it down to 7, but plus 9 obviously nets you even more space. Chester will keep up with you no matter where you go, so it doesn't matter pretty much anywhere you go, except for, of course, in the caves. Chester will not follow you into the caves. But once again, Chester can get killed, so just be careful because some giant things will actually cause damage to Chester, thus killing Chester. So in the long run, Chester is definitely one of the coolest things to run along with you. And of course, if you are not using Chester right now, I would highly recommend. If you want to watch a few more other videos that I'm going to be making after this of showcasing how to turn Chester into some even more cool things, feel free to check those out. But if you are wandering around, find the eye bone, take Chester, and don't worry about it at all. Now, if you're playing a character even like Walter, you're probably looking at this as a double effect, because now you have Chester, now you have Wobby, which is a giant dog that has storage inside of it, same as Chester, same size and everything, and now you also have Chester too. So you have pretty much a crazy amount of storage if you are playing as Walter. That's really the only bonus that I find about Walter, other than maybe like having some variants with range and slingshots and all that other jazz. But as of right now, in my opinion, go out there, get Chester. Don't listen to anybody else and just grab Chester and start using Chester, because honestly, I never got into using Chester at all, and now that I am, I'm realizing how awesome it is. Now, the crazy thing about Chester is there is only one per world, so if you are playing with other people, there is not another way of getting Chester yet. However, I will feel that probably down the road, Clay might look into variants that will allow more than one Chester to be carried by a player. I don't know if this will ever be a thing. I would hope that it would, because of course in worlds where you have multiple people joining up with you, you are limited and you have to share Chester, which a lot of people don't like sharing. And sharing is caring, so we have to remember that, and hopefully Clay will come up with another way to do this. Anyways, thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next one.